Once we did our first deal that way, where we wholesaled it, and when we got paid the 50,000, we split it, and then we kind of looked at each other with the realization that, okay, we can do this. And it probably would have taken longer if that first deal hadn't closed. The jobs that we had, they were pretty good revenue. So to quit that and move into something else that was kind of unknown was
scary. Yeah.
it was scary.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest is an Ohio-based investor with a background in construction and sales who's built and exited the 46th largest mobile home park investment group in the country and now focuses on multifamily, fix and flips, commercial residential. Please welcome Eric Vinson. Eric, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
It's always great to talk with folks who maybe have an interesting strategy or an interesting angle, and you certainly fit that mold. But I always like to start off at the top by asking folks how they got into the real estate space.
Yeah, it's a good question. So I was in sales, and I had a business partner who had purchased his first mobile home park, and it was totally by accident. He was basically looking to make a little bit of extra money on a monthly basis, right? So he was thinking about purchasing a mobile home in the park and then fixing it up and renting it out, right? Maybe make $300-400 a month, sort of a passive sort of cash flow. Well, it was kind of serendipity because the park owner ended up saying, well, why don't you buy the park? And he's like, look, I can't buy the park. I've only got $40,000 to my name. And he's like, well, that turned into a down payment on a seller financing purchase for that mobile home park. So then he has his first asset. Well, him and I team up, and he talks me into, let's just say, cold calling and just sourcing more mobile home parks in other states, right? Not just Michigan or just Ohio, but really all over the place. So when doing that, we would purchase the parks that made sense for us to buy, but then we would wholesale the ones that we got under contract to other investors. So that's kind of how it was a side hustle at first that ended up becoming way better than our main hustle. So, we put away the sales and working for other people, and then we scaled full time just into, pursuing and purchasing mobile home parks. Yeah. So
I'm a big fan of the connections and the way that people meet their partners and form these businesses. How did you meet the partner who you built the mobile home business with?
So that's another interesting question. He is actually my stepson, right? So I have been married to his mother for the last 15 years.
Family business.
When I moved from Michigan to Ohio he was the head of sales for a timeshare company, right? So I came down here to try my hand at sales. Turned out I was pretty good at that. I was top in the nation for 2 years in a row. And during that time is when, again, he bought his first mobile home park. And, he ended up getting me a list. I mean, this was built the old fashioned way, right? Just by putting time in and literally picking up your phone and cold calling, right? Getting rejections, sifting through skip traced lists of numbers that, 90% of the numbers are bad, right? But then there's 10% of the numbers that are good, maybe 2% of those good numbers with motivated sellers. But if you can sift through all that properly and consistently, you're going to wind up with a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And that's kind of what happened to us.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
That's how great businesses are formed. I think a lot of people kind of underestimate what they can do in their warm network. And a lot of people might have said, stepson or anybody in the family even, right? And they would have said, well, how can I start a business? So I haven't done this before. But you had a construction background, and he was looking at buying one, it sounds like, spot in an RV park, ended up doing the first whole deal. How did that first deal happen? Was it pretty straightforward, or was it a lot of kind of learning on the fly?
So this whole thing was learning on the fly. We were, in essence, building a plane in flight, right? Because we didn't know, right? When we started to do this full time, we didn't know if it was going to work. And we were making pretty good money in the timeshare space, right? It wasn't like, get you rich sort of money, but it was good money. It was better money than I had. Well, sales will do that. It'll show you better money if you're good than pretty much any other profession. But,
yeah,
it was one thing to purchase the first one. To figure out if we could create a business and quit our current jobs and go full time on this, we needed to have what we like to say proof of concept. Meaning, okay, what we needed to do was get a mobile home park under contract and then sell that contract to somebody else for a fee. Now, once we did our first deal that way, where we wholesaled it and we made, let's just say, $50,000 on the deal, which turned out for that particular asset was a low number for what we probably could have gotten, but we didn't know at the time, right? So we tacked 50,000 on that, and then the deal closed, and then we got paid the 50,000. We split it, and then we kind of looked at each other with the realization that, okay, we can do this. There is, room here for us to be able to do this. And it probably would have taken longer if that first deal hadn't closed and we hadn't been able to wholesale that. Because again, the jobs that we had, they were pretty good revenue. So to quit that and move into something else that was kind of unknown was
scary. Yeah,
it was scary. Yeah. It would be scarier had I done it by myself.
One of the things that people often talk about, because I'm a realtor now, is they're kind of two different worlds. And actually, in many cases, you can't, because of brokerage limitations, be both a wholesaler and a realtor at the same time. But I came from that world.
Tough.
So I was in distressed real estate, single family, as a wholesaler. So wholesaling mobile home parks, that's a different ball game, right? And so did you teach yourself kind of that skill set and the contracts and how to talk with the sellers and how to find the investors? You mentioned kind of skip traced lists, or was there maybe a mentorship that you had? Mobile home wholesaling is a different beast entirely, right?
Yeah, no, it is. It is. It's a really, really good question. And again, like I said, we were sort of building the plane as we were flying, and I knew very little about mobile home parks and the infrastructure and the sort of things that go on, the sort of actual operational issues that owners run into in the process of owning, in the course of owning a mobile home park. So really what helped me is when I was on the phone doing cold calling, if you're good on the phone, you can get a knowledgeable person on the other side to really give you a lot of information. So for me, that was more, I stole mentorship from every old mobile home park owner that I was able to talk to and develop a relationship with. They would say things to me that I didn't quite understand. I'd ask for clarification. And then on the next call, right? I would sound even more credible because I had a little bit of that history.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
And, I took a few things from one conversation, brought it to another one where only somebody who has had operational struggle and owned a mobile home park would even know that that's a thing, right? So that builds a little bit more credibility. And then through the law of reciprocation, which I'm sure you've heard of, if somebody thinks I'm credible and I share something with them, they're going to share something with me, and we're sharing information. And as long as you understand that that is valuable information, right, that could help you with the next conversation, well, then it's a snowball effect of knowledge that comes down. And that's how I
That's
learned
right.
a lot of stuff. Now, that's as far as, being able to get a deal under contract or have a conversation with most mobile home park owners. They're men of means, right? So they have money, right? Or they wouldn't own what they own. I'm sure that you can agree with this, but a lot of times men that have means and they have a lot of money, they can be a little bit short-sighted and they don't have time for nonsense, and they also want to speak to somebody that they think is credible. So that's what I learned through cold calling, is how to build and maintain credibility. Now, like you asked, how did we learn about investors and wholesaling? Well, that is where my partner and my stepson, he was brilliant at this. So
Yeah.
me and another partner spent most of our time in the beginning of the business just on the phones, on the dialer, calling and sourcing mobile home parks. Once we would get something, we would collaborate, and really with my stepson, he would evaluate it, and his job was to find investors, right? To take the deals that we got, put them under contract, and then put them out there to the real estate network within the mobile home park space, it's a smaller space than one might think, right? Because there's not a ton
Yeah.
of mobile home park owners on a high level in the country, right? So it's not a big, deep pool of people to shop these to. So we got an email list and we would blast it out there, just simple stuff, nothing too fancy. We weren't doing drip campaigns. We were just, like I said, getting something under contract, getting a good deal on it, putting a fee on that, right, based on what it could become, and then, assigning that to other people. And then that's how that relationship built with other investors. We still are friends with a lot of investors, some of which own, well over 100 mobile home parks. So, yeah,
I want to ask you
been a wild
about
ride. Yeah.
pivoting to the space that you're in today. You're involved in some interesting deals, multifamily, fix and flip, commercial, residential. Each have their own vertical, their own obstacles, their own challenges. I've done fix and flips, seen a little bit of multifamily. I haven't done any commercial, residential. Walk me through the pivot points, going from you exited the mobile home investment group to then multifamily, commercial, and residential, which are involved in today, commercial residential. How did the business
Yeah.
grow, and what were the flex points or pivot points in multifamily, commercial, and the fix and flips?
Yeah, that's another good question, Dylan. Thanks for asking that. So when I left the mobile home park business, I wasn't quite sure exactly what direction I was going to go into. I knew it was going to be real estate involved. So I started looking for duplexes, triplexes, things like that, because it's easy to get a skip trace list of those sort of assets. A little bit tougher to do with single family. I mean, you might as well just get a phone book and open it up, because there's no real database of just single family homes that are a little bit in distress. So it was a little bit easier. And then I ended up running into a man here locally where I live, just a brilliant, brilliant young man. His name is Devin Muniz. And so my company, VPI Investments, teamed up with him and his company, which is called BL Capital, where we have a real estate sort of a fund. It's not a REIT, but it's more of use the wrong word, maybe a syndication or a LP kind of a scenario where we basically what we were able to do. And BL Capital, just so that everybody's clear, was an established, growing business when I teamed up with them.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Basically, we were able to take $1 million of investor money and parlay that into 36 properties that are worth over $4 million combined. So we took $1 million in investor money and we were able to parlay that into a lot of properties, right, in a very short period of time. And it was reminiscent of the way that the mobile home park business grew too, like as if we had lightning in a bottle. But when you get forward-thinking minds and ambitious people together and egos can go out of the way, it's amazing what can be done in such a short period of time. So that's how that worked. Now, he had been in, Devin is who I'm referring to, my new partner. He had been in the residential space for some time now. So he was able to help me get up to speed on some of the differences. Like, I mean, we're talking about the difference between a conventional mortgage and a debt service coverage ratio loan, right? Which a lot of people don't quite know the difference there, but they're both amortized out for 30 years. However, with a commercial loan, I'm sure you know, you have to perform within the early years of that loan so that you can raise the value to be able to refinance out of that thing. So that's where that's why, for me, switching my attention from acquisitions and going into, the value add and the actual operations and getting these things ready for purchase, or not necessarily purchase, but for refinance or sale, right? Because that's when investors get return of capital. That's when all the magic happens, right? After all the hard work there. So, but that takes a while on commercial loans, right? It's easily a 90-day close, sometimes 120, 180 days before one of these things can actually cross the finish line. But what I learned that Devin got me up to speed on was that we can close much faster on duplexes, on triplexes, things that are basically 4 units and under, right? Because you can do a conventional mortgage on those. Now, one of the things that we really excelled at was the creative deals, right? Was being able to find a seller who is willing to do a seller financing deal. That is how you can take $1 million and turn it into $4 million in assets and provide a really athletic return for investors, right? So, anything with real estate, I'm sure you can agree with that really a good deal is 20 to 30% cash on cash return in real estate. Anything in double digits would be okay, but if I'm looking at 11% return, I don't know if I'm really going to be pursuing that super hard. But when we're talking about 20 to 30, maybe 40, even 60% cash on cash returns, which sounds crazy, but really when you're getting a deal for 10% down out of pocket, I mean, it's not hard to have a 70% cash on cash return, right? So we were able to open up a lot more.
And there's a lot of opportunity, I think, all over. I'm in Texas, you're in Ohio, but I was speaking with an investor who runs a AI company of sorts who will search and filter the active MLS listings by what has greater than I want to say it's a 20 or 30% cashing, and all these deals cash on cash. I said, unbelievable. These are all listed right now. He's like, yeah, I've done it myself. It's worked for me. So proof was in the pudding. He's done it himself using his own tool. Where can they go to learn more about you or to reach out to you?
Yeah, good question. Well, I don't necessarily limit myself to just Michigan or Ohio. Our mobile home park business was in 10 different states. So I'm definitely open to pursuing deals in other areas of the country. But if anybody would like to reach out to me, they can call or text me directly. If you don't mind, I'll just let everybody know what my phone number is. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so anybody can reach me at 269-339-25. You can call me, you can text me. And another way to reach me will be, I have a website. It's nothing super fancy, but it's a real easy way for me to bring in more leads. And that's VPIinvestmentsllc.com. So somebody can go and check me out on my website at vpiinvestmentsllc.com. My number is listed on there as well, along with my email address. Or you could find me on Facebook just with my name, Eric Vinson.
Eric, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
Thank you. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.